All right, tonight's the night that I start converting my 2011 Toyota 4Runner SR5 from this into this. Just a little background here. I hit a deer a few weeks ago, front driver's side. It cracked the bumper and damaged the chrome piece. The turn signal's out. It pushed the headlight back into the fender just a little bit, but so slightly that you can't really even notice it. But it's enough for the insurance company to replace the bumper, pay for paint, some parts and whatnot. So I figured it was a perfect opportunity to upgrade to the new 2014 version. I got a Toyota bumper, had the body shop paint it, and I'm gonna do all the work to install it. So this video is gonna go through everything that I've done or am going to do to give it the new 2014 look, headlight wiring, removing the old bumper and putting all of the new parts on. The low beam headlights on the old 4Runner, the 2010 4Runner, are different than the current generation. So there's a little bit of wiring you need to do. The forums are really helpful. I got a lot of information about how to do it from the forums, and once I had the pieces in my hand, it all made sense. One of the things that really helps is this H11 male adapter. You can splice this into the new headlight harness for the low beams, and I'll show you that on video. To do this, you just need the adapter, the blue harness from the new headlights. You need a soldering iron, solder, razor blade or wire stripper, just some random stuff, electrical tape. It's not hard. I'll show you it on video here. The low beams have this wiring adapter that snakes from the inside H11 out through the bottom and then connects to the vehicle right here at this white plug. What we're gonna do is cut off this white plug and splice in the H11 male adapter that I showed you earlier. It's really easy, and it's the best way to connect to the 2010 harness.
When you're doing the wiring, it's important to make sure that you're plugging in the adapter in the same direction as the current headlight bulb is. I'm matching the colors, and then we'll follow the adapter end all the way through to the harness to make sure that it's being plugged in the right direction. The adapters that I got have two different tabs here. There's a higher one, and then on the other side there's a lower one. And I found that when I did this previously, the higher one is the one that I need. So I'm going to be cutting off the lower tab so that it slides into the wiring harness without any issues.
Another part of the lighting change in the new 4Runner is that the turn signal DRL moves up to the headlight housing, and the socket doesn't fit the new headlight housing, but I found online there is a socket that will work. So this socket, here's the part number, needs to be modified to fit the new housing just slightly. You'll see that there are 4 tabs on the bulb side of the socket that fit into the housing. I've modified one here. This one has just 3 tabs. So I've cut off one of the tabs, and then the largest tab needs to be sliced down just a little bit, not very much at all. You can see probably right here is where I slice that down, and then over on this side, remove that tab. So the 2 tabs that need to be removed or changed are this one right here needs to be completely removed, and then this largest one needs to be shaved down just a little bit. Pretty easy after that. Install the new bulb and it goes right in the housing, plugs right up to the 2010 wiring harness. fender liner is loose now, so I can reach in and unplug the fog lamp and the DRL. Now you move to the radiator cover and the upper grill. I pulled most of the pins out for the radiator cover already, but these are very easy. You could just push them down and then they can pop out like that. With the radiator cover off, then pull out these pins, this bolt right here, and then these down here. These ones on the side and the ones in the center are pretty easy to pop out. You can just pull them up with a small screwdriver and they pull right out. Underneath, there are also 5 bolts that are holding on the bumper. So I took off all of the bolts down below. There's some screws down below as well that are holding the fenders together. I separated everything down below so I could tell that the bumper's not being held on by anything. You can see the fender liner's completely flapping here. The bumper is pretty loose now, along with the grill. So now I think I can just start pulling out at the sides here and should be able to get the entire bumper off. I've removed one headlight already, and to remove the headlights, you'll take out this bolt right here, this bolt right here, and then this bumper support can actually completely be removed because you're replacing it with the new one. These 2 bolts can come out, and then the whole headlight will come out. To get the headlight out, you need to lift up on this tab with a small screwdriver to pull it over a plastic piece that it sits on. Before you do this, make sure you unplug all the bulbs. The side parking light you'll be able to unplug after you get this headlight out of the corner. Moving on to the rebar, there are 3 bolts that hold this splash shield to the rebar. And those are right there, right there. So you just need to remove those. To remove the rebar, I would recommend a breaker bar. The bolts are on really tight and there are 4 of them on each side. With that rebar off, that is the last part of the disassembly for the most part, I think. And now I'm gonna start putting stuff back on. I wanna start with the headlights. So, need the 2 side supports. My headlights are all wired up. I'm going to get the DRL turn signal wired down here up to the regular wiring harness. So I think I need to cut that a little bit, but now's the fun part. I'm starting to put some of the brackets on. I have both of these front brackets on, or front supports on. I have the side one there. I'm gonna put on the center, and I'm putting on this one right now.
I just don't know exactly how the headlights fit on, and I want to make sure that everything's in place to support them with, when I put them on. So these just clip in. You kind of feel that click. And then this one is a little bit harder. There it goes.
I'm trying to get the center support on. I realized that these baffles right here do not allow center support to be installed. So I cut this one over on this side, and I need to cut this one over on this side off too. At this point, I have a lot of the support brackets on, center support is now on, and it's late, so I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow.
It's day 2 and I'm ready to install the headlights. Most of the bolt screws can be used from the old headlights. There's one that goes here, one up here, and one right here. There is a new one here on the center support. I'm using an old plastic piece that I got from the rocker panel when I replaced that. I cut off the top and I'm hoping that I can screw into this.
For the turn signal in DRL, it's down in the bottom of the bumper and wound through this tubing along with the fog lamp. You'll just need to take it out of the tubing, cut some electrical tape, and then ultimately feed it up through here and into the corner so it can hook into the new headlight. I'm going to rewrap it with electrical tape and then install the headlight. One thing to know about the lights is that they may or may not come with this bracket depending on where you find them. One of the lights that I found did have the bracket and one did not, so I had to buy an aftermarket one. But one thing to check before you start the installation. With the lights in, I'm just about ready to install the bumper. Still need to cut off these baffles right about here to make sure that the new bumper will fit on. So I'm gonna do that right now and then install the bumper. It was probably difficult to see what I was doing there, but I recommend putting tape in the corner here. It saves your bumper, saves the grill. There's several points along here where it needs to fit together and it's pretty tight. So just better safe than sorry. Those points go together, and then there are several tabs. There are 4 tabs in here like this that need to clip into place. So you need to feed it through and then push real hard to get them to clip into place. Once you do that, then there's just a pin here. There's the bolt here that you took out before, and then one more pin over there. So once you get it together, then it is solid. No issues at all, no moving with the bumper, and it is just about done. The last bit of this is the fender liner. You can see there's a part right here that I'm gonna cut off and drill some new holes so that it can secure down to the bumper. There's also an extra piece here that is not being used, this one on the end, so I'm gonna unscrew that and then figure out a way to attach this so that it's not flapping around. Finishing up the fender liner here. This is the driver's side. It's in 2 pieces. So after I cut it here, it's gonna be separated down at the bottom because there's not these 2 little plastic rivets in. I'll have to figure out some way to tie those 2 together, maybe with a different plastic rivet or with a zip tie or something like that. And then I'll tie it into the bumper with this bolt. So I'll cut it across here and then put a new hole in the splash shield and take out this bumper bolt and put it in right here. The passenger side fender liner is really similar. It's just not in 2 pieces, so you don't need to go through the extra step of tying the 2 together. So I'm just gonna cut it all the way across right here and then leave this tab so it can tie into the bumper bolt again.
And that's it for the project.